Hi. Um, I hope that you're well. I hope that as you are watching this, you are feeling grounded and prepared and relatively far enough away from the frequency of victimhood, far enough detached, far enough separate from that feeling so that you can start pulling the real shit in, and cleanse of and cleanse of the weight of the challenges that we face so far that we haven't been able to transmute. It is very early in the morning, and I felt very called to do this. I figured at some point during this journey, I'm gonna have to try to. I intend on opening the door to try to read at different parts of the day, different states of the self. So I'm feeling really exhausted and like in between. But I felt called to do this because I've also seen as well lots of information supporting that this time of life, early November 2025, is like a build up. We've been experiencing a lot of whoop, and then whoop, a lot of, what do we call it? Like the way a sine graph or a cos graph moves, the cycles. They've been happening very dramatically, in my opinion, especially during the last quarter of this year. And so we have one coming, and I wanted to support that information with a video that I'll link by Stefan Burns in the description of this video, where he spoke about how there are sunspots that have been emitting radiation energy frequency, that have been facing away from the earth up till now as the sun begins to turn. Apparently, within about the next week, those sunspots are going to face us, and we are going to start feeling and possibly experiencing. He said that there is a pretty plausible probability of earthquakes, and they've already been plenty natural disasters unfolding, especially during this time, end of October, beginning of November. We also have a full supermoon on the 5th of November. And what else do we have? I think there's some great planetary conjunction that's happening as well. But I know that generally the alignments of the sky are incredible. It's incredible what's happening right now to us on an energetic level. And we have to make way now more than ever for the power of understanding energy. I'm repeating myself again, but I feel like this specific information is worth repeating and worth, drilling into all levels of the conscious, so that as I open this video with, we really release that frequency of victimhood and shame and guilt. I feel called to remind you again to consider looking into, at least just dabbling a little bit with the understanding of giving your shame to Jesus Christ, just the action of absolving yourself, accepting yourself for your imperfections, understanding and toggling the bar of expectation you have of yourself and others during this time. I think it could also be very healing to focus on various ideas of compassion, just the emotion of compassion, focusing also on the heart space. This day also began with a pattern that I've been dealing with throughout this year, where something a specific thing would happen that would cause me to react instead of respond. I was able today, for I think the first time that I've ever, in terms of my journey of engaging with the specific thing that keeps triggering me and I react, I've responded in the most responsive, calm, present way that I've ever done. And normally when this reactive thing would happen, afterwards I would feel incredible amounts of guilt and shame. And I would have to, and sitting and processing with that emotion after the fact would be very heavy on me. It would really throw off my whole day, and I would really struggle to bring myself back to center. But I always maintained my intention and awareness on the fact that I want this to change. I knew that the way that I was reacting was not what I wanted. And I decided through every single time it happened, and it happened exactly like a pattern. And the pattern, because it kept happening so many times, it eventually became obvious. This is a channeled message in and of itself. That repetitiveness, it just kept happening. And with every time it happened, I was driven to the insanity question point of like, okay, am I going to continue on this then? Or, or am I just like, what are the options here? I was pushed to that inner anger, inner frustration. And I think that's also something that can be medicine in dealing with shame and guilt, is to get angry. Instead of being shameful or sad or despondent or aware, get angry and use that emotion instead. Especially if you're somebody who's, like me, is prone to bouts of depression, and if you struggle with mental health. In my experience, being angry feels a lot stronger than being sad. However, there is deep empowerment in knowing when to be sad and giving that room. So anyway, after a season, I'd say it's been like 6 months. It started around winter, this situation that would repeat itself, that would pull out a very reactive response from me, started around winter. And throughout, at first it was difficult. Obviously, it takes time to notice the pattern, but then it starts happening enough times, and you internally start feeling riled up enough times to recognize that there's something here. There's something going on. The way that this affects my heart space, the emotion, and I think that that's how that is the doorway through which the symbolisms come to you, is through is through a way of feeling that feels to you, That's why Scorpios, we especially have to watch ourselves this season because of our responsibility for transmutation. In my observation and general experience, water signs in general, but specifically Scorpio, Pisces, 8th house, 12th house, are more prone than any sign I've seen to do the shame, victimhood, defensiveness, no one loves me, no. You know what I mean? Which is all, please, valid. Again, I'm literally from that tunnel. I find myself in and out of it. When I say dealing with the frequency of victimhood, I would not recommend striving to completely eradicate it. I think that the feeling of shame and all of that fear, the shadow, it's part of life. It's more trying to accept it. I think that's where the power, or that's when it starts to work, the detachment and the separation, and being able to stand separate from the feeling of victimhood is in accepting it. So yeah, happened enough times, the pattern happened enough times, I felt it deep within me enough times, it ruined my day enough times for me to start changing it around, I'd say, 3 months in. This is also to share the time span of which I believe realistically and practically almost scientifically, as to how this energy shit works and how long it can take for you to bring things in or bring about a change. I know that Google has its, I mean, you can search all about how many days it takes to change a habit, but I'm trying to relay this. I'd like to relay my experience on the basis of actual lived experience and not like some general science or something that probably only applies to a white man, or you know what I mean. So about 3 months in, I was able to click at least into some shift of frustration or anger to say, wait, I'm actually tired of this happening. This is annoying, you know? And that's from then on when I kept needing to rewire my brain. It would still happen. I would still be reactive and triggered, but it's like the episode of Midnight Gospel where the man in that character in jail keeps dying and he keeps needing to try again and again, and every time, you know, it's actually yes. Oh my god, it's exactly that episode. Actually, I would recommend watching that. I'll try see which episode it is, and then I will link the name of the episode and yeah, see if I can find something. I'll figure it out, but I highly recommend it. If you have not seen Midnight Gospel, then I'm surprised because I really believe that everybody Midnight Gospel is like a universal language, especially in the thing we talk about. So anyway, so exactly like that, where you keep trying. Where in that episode, and I'm gonna start referencing. I don't think I'm giving anything away. Where in that episode that person had to repeat lifetimes in order to get the thing right. We only repeat we this experience of repeating lifetimes, and this is what's so amazing about being alive. It's being compressed into being able to experience these things in a span of like a few months or weeks, you know, where you get to awaken in a span of a few months. That is truly incredible. It's an amazing opportunity that we've been given in general to be alive during these times. Baby, please hold on. Please give me a moment. It is really amazing to be alive in these times because of the opportunity that we have to evolve. Yeah, the time span is really like it's like it's being compressed and squished. It's like a gift, which is interesting. Time compressing and the experience, the inner world. Oh, okay. Yeah, the inner world is expanding. Anyway, I need to process what I've just said myself before I deliver it as like a channeling. So after a few months of doing that, 3 months of sitting in the pit, then maybe another 3 to 4 months practicing, going back, getting reactive, repeating the pattern, repeating the mistake, going around and round. But each roundabout, I feel more like, okay, I see what this is. I see how it makes me feel. Why does it make me feel this way? No, 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 no. Let's try again. I messed up again. Same reactive. Okay, let's see. No, 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 no. You know what I mean? This is suited to the type of person that you are. I like to be analytical because it's through that logical mind for me that things stick. It's not really the feminine to me that glues things together. So I like to be hard, factual. But it's not easy to experience the reactive cycles and the karmic cycles, be it with a thing, a situation, experience, or a person. It's not easy at all to do that and to hold and to balance the awareness. So even through that, shame, guilt, forgive yourself. Please, throughout this week, and I think part of the reason why that came up as something to channel in this video is because, yes, energetically, miracles, amazing. But part of this energetic miracle very naturally implies that we are going to be triggered as fuck. We're going to be tired. We're going to be on edge. We're going to feel pressed, squeezed, tight, you know? So that we can be pushed to the point of going poof, like the way a supernova does, or the way a universe explodes to create another universe, a star. You know what I mean? So that kind of thing is happening to us on all levels, on every level that exists. genuinely, and to every living thing and non-living. The whole of reality is being affected by the energetic shifts that are happening right now, that are largely happening within us, that we are going to then integrate and apply onto the world and change the world. That is New Earth. I also feel called, as I mentioned, that to please look out. It's going to keep getting stickier and stickier. Everything, the work of energy, esoteric industries, other tarot readers. I feel that there's going to be a weird crossover. I don't know if I've ever spoke about this in my channelings, but there's going to be a really strange crossover between the esoteric world and the way that the real world, the matrix, capitalism. I think that will even be, and this feels a bit cringy to look into, but it does feel like it's going to happen because of how profitable the esoteric industry will be. Government bodies and people who you would have never suspected, where it's like, what? You believe in spirituality? You believe in energy and astrology and weird little clickbaits like politicians mentioning their star signs, their moons and their risings and whatever, just for vibes. More of that is going to start happening, more performances and more performances of this of the shit that we've been in. More people are gonna try to wear this mask, try to wear this ego of spirituality and divine consciousness, and we are all one. Watch out for that. While we may be convinced at this level, who we can tell who the fakes are, intuition's pretty polished. Our universe is gonna have to meet us at our level. If we have polished intuition and we're going to be able to spot everything, our perceptions and living experiences has to upgrade to that level of being able to notice anything, so that things are going to naturally become more challenging. You know what I mean? It has to meet us where we're at. So I would also say enjoy how calm and like simple and almost easy things are right now. It's challenging, but you can do it. And so that's where the ease will come in. You will not, like as time goes, you will not be met with a test that you cannot pass, and you will feel it. And you'll be able to feel from the very second the challenge comes, where it's like, okay, this is something I can do. Very little is going to get you down from here on out. And that's brilliant. That's the point. That's the point. The resilience, the connection with your inner light, the presence of it and how it can take control. The way you allow it to take control at the right times, the way you are aware of it. You know what I mean? It's that actually that we've been trying to bring in. Yes, divine love. Yes, beautiful cause, money, assets, access, generational wealth, do. But it's about you and your internal experience, the light of that, and letting it shine so that all of that stuff can come in. It starts inside. I felt like there was something that I'd wanted to mention as an extension of the discernment. But I feel like, just please be very vigilant at all times. Don't let your ego get the best of you. Don't grow a spiritual ego and then flex on or look down or condescend or think that you can step in front of people's free will. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Just remember that for whatever you see from here on out, because people are going to go crazy. We're all feeling this shit, all of us. And at least we've got the words, we can talk about it. We are open enough to be able to at least try to understand, remain curious. There are some people who are closed off, but are obviously still experiencing this shit energetically. And so they're obviously going to crash out. And there may be a lot of that, a lot of crash outs, a lot of really strange behavior. Please be careful in all matters where, okay, please be careful with machines. cars, big machines. If you find yourself in a factory or something, just be careful of that. And the power of prayer. Yes, that's also something that's been, very common theme throughout the weeks, but I think that a lot of people are starting to understand or are relying on it more because of how much they feel, how out of control everything feels right now. Lots of really random bad shit is happening. Like it's like we're in a minefield right now and just random explosions are happening everywhere. But I guarantee you, keep your prayers up, keep knowing who you work with energetically, keep acknowledging the presence of the other in terms of the realm, the guides, the ancestors, God, the divine in the others, and do it sincerely and with humbleness, for real. Keep that shit up and you will not be touched. It's like yeah, it's exactly that actually. The I'm sorry to speak on it this way because I know that there's a more clear way that I can. I know there's a name for this and everything, but I can only describe it as far as I've seen it in the Prince of Egypt, the movie Prince of Egypt, where the people are asked to put the blood of a lamb on their door to signal that you're on God's side. That's exactly what's happening right now. Exactly what's happening. And the way that we apply the blood of the lamb on our doors is by praying. That's all we're required to do, and to keep up with that. And I mean intending on some benevolent energy, intending on some benevolent energy to look over you and those you love. That needs to be a thing reinforced as often as possible throughout your entire life, throughout your whole life. That shit needs to become like breathing. And you'll see it really makes life so easy. It makes you light. It makes you beautiful, It really does. It makes you beautiful to pray. And I don't understand. Not enough people are doing it. Even if you like vaguely believe in God, like why not? Why not? Just try it out. Just speak praise and protection over your life. Just do it. Like, who will it harm? It does nothing. It takes nothing out of you. Please don't take that for granted. It is very, very important that especially the prayer warriors, energetic warriors, generational workers, anyone who identifies with me in general, if you resonate with my energy, then yeah, we have to keep the prayer shit up. It's very, 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 very important. It's so important. And every time I sit with how important it is, I'm always so perplexed by the consideration of a reality where it isn't important. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't prioritize spirituality and your energetic well-being right now. But that's all I've got. That is all I have. I felt as well called to do this because the energy of this week also feels urgent in the sense that it's like, it's time to wrap it up, guys. Like, wrap it up. Pay attention to all of the places, as I mentioned earlier. Pay attention to all of the places of shame. Look at your shit. Face your shit. Be truthful. If there's anywhere where you're still lying, yes, forgive yourself. Keep going. Yes, yes, yes. You've always got the time and you're always forgiven. You always get a second chance. But also, something's about to happen right now and you want to be as ready for it as possible, because why not? It's right here. It feels like if we can get all of our spiritual ducks in a row and if we can try to maintain as much presence as possible this week, throughout our lives in general, but this week especially, the influx of energy, more particularly the solar radiation, and just the general energetic changes, right? It feels like they're here to launch us, like they were a launching pad, like we're gonna go boing, and you'd rather go boing with as least baggage as possible. Yes, so that you can really shoot up. you know? So it's baggage week. It's laundry week. We're doing the washing. We're hanging it, you know? Not the funnest of activities, right? But can be fun if throughout you try to maintain presence. You know what I mean? Doing chores can be fun if you listen to music and you dance while you do it. And I'm talking literally. Listening to music and dancing has been my saving grace in a shocking way. Privately to yourself with headphones. Going out, I wouldn't recommend so much because, like I said, people are crazy. Energies are crazy. I don't know if you're the type, then sure. I went out this weekend. It was lovely, but that's my social battery peaked. What else can be nice? Yeah, just being present while doing chores. I'm thinking because it is giving chores, and I'm trying to think of what is helpful while doing chores, literally while doing dishes, hanging, washing, listening to music, being present, breathing, using the opportunity that you have, that pause while your hands are doing things, to put your mind and your heart in places of gratitude or in thoughts of love, you know. So maybe you use that time while you're washing dishes to like list things you're grateful for internally while you're washing the dish with every plate you wash. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that, you know. That's the kind of work we have to do, and we have to keep it up, and it's really going to change the fucking game as we do it. It's going to be so effective. It's I promise you, whatever state you're in right now, just do that shit. Just do it. I think that's all I have. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. I really hope that this specific channeling was helpful, because of how I'm feeling into like I said, chores aren't fun. It's gonna be, I mean, it's labor, so it's gonna be labor, but it's nothing that's gonna get you down. And I wanted to offer this channeling as a reminder and upliftment through that. Don't ever think that there's anything that can touch you after all the fucking work that you've been doing. You know what I mean? Nothing. Keep up the good work. We are doing brilliant work. And hold on, baby, I'm finishing.
My work.
Okay. We are doing brilliant work, and we should keep going with the knowing of that, you know, the knowing. There's faith, there's belief, and then there's knowing. That's where we're at. That's what we deserve. That's what we can know is true right now. That's what we can apply as truth. Delusion doesn't exist. It's only truth. Okay. Thank you. And I will see you in the next live stream.